licensed bank. I've known Roberto for many years. He has been one of Miami's leading bankers for many years and very involved as well in international banking in this community. So it's my pleasure to introduce Roberto.
Thank you very much. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to put a plug in for our good friends here at Ackerman, because I have closed many deals, so you know, many transactions with clients, and they have all gone very well. Neeson and I have done opportunities together, as well as Dan and myself. Dan and I actually have gone on mission trips together to Asia. So we know each other very well, which is important. So thank you, Neeson, for the, and of course I call him honorable. He was the former mayor of Miami Beach, and those that know Miami Beach, that is the jewel of our city. The water, the people, the weather, it all happens on Miami Beach, and it's also a leading city for us. So thank you very much for the very kind introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. I want to thank you first of all. It's a complete honor for me to be here today to welcome Ambassador Wilczek and Councilor Gebski to this important event. On behalf of the World Trade Center Miami, our city's leading global organization. I'm Roberto Munoz, Chairman of the World Trade Center Miami and Market President for First Horizon Bank, a $43 billion financial institution headquartered in Tennessee with more than 30 branches in South Florida and a deep commitment to serving our international sector. I would like to thank our friends at Ackerman for hosting this important program about expanding the dynamic relationship between Poland and the United States and creating new economic opportunities for everyone. We appreciate the support of the firm and our valued program sponsors, including the Embassy of the Republic of Poland, the Polish Floridian Business Group, NM, and the Polyrind Group, as well as many other business and civic leaders who are here this afternoon. This conversation comes at a very timely moment for U.S.-Poland economic relations. During the recent meeting of the World Economic Forum in Davos, 12 of Central and Eastern Europe's largest companies signed a memorandum to establish a business council of growing Europe. And if the milestone was held, this event was held at the Poland House, and it was hosted by Andrzej Duda, President of the Republic of Poland. The objective of the council is to promote Central and Eastern Europe as an attractive destination for global investors, to present the region as a development hub of high technology and a destination of investments in infrastructure and renewable energy sources. Today, Poland is well positioned to serve as a hub for global trade and investment in Eastern Europe, just as Miami is strategically located in the center of the Western Hemisphere. For many decades, the World Trade Center Miami has promoted our city as a trade and logistics capital of the Americas. Our goal is to facilitate two-way trade, investment, and have developed strong ties with many European companies over the past 36 years. Our hemispheric trade shows have generated more than 3.8 billion international sales and have brought more than 300,000 trade and logistics professionals to our city. As the gateway of South America and the Caribbean, Miami is an ideal launching pad for Polish companies seeking to build relations with Latin American customers, suppliers, and investors. At the same time, Miami is an excellent location for Polish companies entering the U.S. market. We have our banks, attorneys, and other professionals that are ready to open the door for Polish business and investors to help them achieve their goals. In conclusion, we believe there are exciting new opportunities to grow trade and investment between our two countries, and that the World Trade Center Miami is ready to assist you in the process. Thank you very much as I welcome our today's guest. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here today. We appreciate you coming to Miami. Thank you.
sorry. This is not me. This is me. My old picture. I remember it was in the Foreign Ministry 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago, after my nomination. I've been ambassador of Poland to the United States since November 2016. So it's been quite a long time. But oh, I'm sorry. Can I just close it? Is it possible just to close it? Okay.
Yes,
oh, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, good afternoon to everyone. This is the beginning of my official speech. Actually, before becoming ambassador, I was a university professor, and it really looks like a class, you know. It's amazing that the first row is empty. It's only Mr. Munoz and my colleague. You know.
Very good students, by the way.
So it feels like, again, you know, in a classroom. So, dear students, allow me to start by thanking the World Trade Center Miami for organizing this event. Especially many thanks to Mr. Roberto Munoz, and thank you for your kind introduction. And many thanks to the Ackerman law firm for hosting us tonight. It is a great honor to be here in the beautiful and sunny state of Florida, and to have this opportunity to address you today about Poland's exceptional relations with the United States. My duties as the Polish ambassador to the United States, unfortunately, do not allow me to travel outside of Washington, D.C. as often as you would like, and you know the reasons, right? I should be almost all the time in Washington, so I'm really very happy to go sometimes for a weekend, especially to Florida. However, I'm delighted when presented with such opportunities, as I am fully aware of how important local communities and individual states are for building bilateral relations with the United States. We have actually a model cooperation between Poland and Nevada, for example, and I hope that the Poland-Florida connection will be the next one, and even more important for many reasons. It's always very nice to visit Florida, not only because of the great weather, which is very much appreciated at this time of year, or beautiful beaches, but primarily because of the dynamic economic development of your state and the huge potential for cooperation with Poland, as Mr. Munoz already mentioned. This potential was noticed some time ago by the LOT Polish Airlines, which launched a direct connection between Warsaw and Miami in June 2019. Maybe not everyone in this room is aware of that there's a direct flight from Miami to Warsaw and Warsaw to Miami. I am convinced that it has already contributed to closer cooperation between the people of Florida and Poland. Although increased tourist traffic seems to be the most obvious outcome, I think it will also serve as an opportunity to develop stronger business relations, to strengthen the interest of Floridian companies in investing in Poland, as well as to increase the presence of Polish enterprises in Florida. In this context, I would like to thank Mr. Patryk Misiewicz. Where is Patrick? Oh. So, who is director of the Polridian, which means Polish Floridian, right? The Polridian group. And actually, Patrick initiated today's meeting, and he is very active in fostering Polish-Floridian economic relations. So thank you, Patrick, very much for bringing me here. Later, my colleague Pawel Gebski will tell you more about Poland's economic potential and the possibility of doing business with our country. Meanwhile, I would like to focus on what I believe are the most important elements of current Polish-American relations. Actions are driven by goals, policies are dictated by objectives. Poland's overarching goals are both to ensure the security of our country and its citizens and to promote overall growth. The aim is to create conditions for Polish society to prosper and thrive. Along these lines, Poland seeks to bolster its defense capabilities and energy security and supports initiatives that foster economic and social development. In the international arena, we pursue these goals in large part through the European Union, NATO, and our partnership with the United States. I believe the three pillars of our policy. exactly 101 years ago, reborn Poland established official ties with the United States. My predecessor and the first envoy designate of Poland to the US, Prince Kazimierz Lubomirski, at that time princes were ambassadors. No longer, I think, in most cases. He arrived in Washington in 1919 to lay the framework for what is now one of the strongest bilateral relationships in the world. Poland-US relations have never been as good as they are now. As ambassador, I find this statement most satisfying. Our outstandingly positive relations are evidenced by frequent recent visits and meetings between our two presidents. President Trump's first official visit to a European country was to Poland in July 2017. President of Poland, Andrzej Duda, was in Washington twice, in the White House in 2018 and 19. Vice President Pence was in Poland twice last year. We have only weekly exchanges between respective high-ranking officials, signed declarations, letters of understanding and agreements. Our priorities in relation to with the United States include the extension of the US military presence in Poland as part of the strengthening of NATO's eastern flank, other joint security and defense projects, and the steady enhancement of cooperation in energy security, the economy, investment, and people-to-people contact. Polish-American defense cooperation doesn't take place in a vacuum. Rather, Poland and the United States support each other in the broader European and transatlantic context. It's important to remember that these communities aren't mutually exclusive. We all seek security and rely on each other for defense. And as you know, American defense companies are very much involved in this process. So we believe that stronger Poland means stronger United States, stronger Europe, stronger NATO. So for this reason, the American military presence in our country boosts the security of all alliance members, especially given Poland's unique geostrategic position. But again, it's a great opportunity for improving and enhancing business relationships. Poland is concerned with the security issues impacting its Central and Eastern European neighborhood, especially regarding the continued occupation of Crimea, the instability of Eastern Ukraine, etc. So for us, all these international initiatives, including, for example, the so-called Warsaw Process, which is about the Middle East peace and security in the Middle East, which we also launched with the United States last year, are very important. I especially want to emphasize that deepening ties with the United States doesn't mean Poland is trying to pull farther away from the European Union. We are not planning any pole exit. We still want to be members of the European Union. Great Britain is in a very special, unique situation. Poland joined the European Union in 2004. There is a big popular support for the European Union. For Poland, joining the European Union was a kind of rejoining the West, rejoining the Western Europe, reuniting with Western European economy. So the Brits have their own special problems. For us, membership of the European Union, of the single market, is of crucial importance. So, so that's what I wanted to emphasize. That my presentation here is not a kind of presentation of an individual country, but also to some extent of the European Union. But also Poland is very much interested in strengthening regional cooperation, and as it already has been mentioned in this room or before during our discussion at lunch, there is a very special network of 12 European, Central and Eastern European countries, the so-called Three Seas initiatives, countries between the Baltic, Black and Adriatic Seas. Our 12 countries, I will not list all of them, but you can imagine it's the three Baltic countries, Poland, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, and Austria, and Bulgaria, Croatia, Romania, this region, and Slovenia. The Slavic not all of them Slavic. Hungary is not Slavic, you know, it depends, but just Central Eastern Europe, because the whole idea was about, first of all, it's about 112 million people. It's 1/3 of the territory of the European Union. Much of this region's potential remains underdeveloped. That was the idea of the whole project, in large part due to inadequate infrastructure. So there is a great challenge for us, because the European integration that followed the transformation of Central and Eastern Europe in 1990s has been focused along the east-west axis. It was just enlarging the European Union to the west. But in our region, after this process, many challenges remained, and it's especially about improving transportation, energy, and communication infrastructure between our countries on the north-south axis. To develop IT infrastructure, transportation, communication, and there is a big role for foreign investors, and we really don't like to have investors who are very eager to invest, but I don't want to mention the name of the country because I'm a diplomat, but you know what country I mean. So, but if the United States companies are not interested enough, or the Western European companies, they will come. You know, they have already their own projects. It's not 12 countries, but a little more. But anyway, so this is the idea, and so this 3Cs initiative has a great support of the United States. Actually, the first visit of President Trump to Poland in 2017 was not only a visit to Poland, but it was a meeting of 12 presidents of these 12 countries. So there was a summit. So there was a pretext for President Trump's first visit to Poland. So his first visit to Poland was at the same time the first visit to these 12 countries, a meeting with the presidents. And it was in 2017, now we have 2020, and there are more and more, you know, concrete projects involving American investors, and we also American government institutions. We hope that DFC and other institutions will be more involved financially in strengthening this project. So, and as I've already discussed with Patrick actually earlier today, it's a great opportunity maybe at some point to bring not only Poland but all these 12 countries to Florida and think how the whole region can be present, because we know how strong the Floridian economy is, stronger than Polish. We all know that, and but with all these countries, we'll be stronger. You know, when we come, you know, the 12 of us. So, so that's one of the ideas, that the 3Cs initiative, which has a strong political support because of the reason I kind of mentioned before, that the Central Eastern Europe should develop, but with the help of American businesses, American government. So there is a kind of understanding between government and businesses here that this is a great challenge. Who will invest in Central and Eastern Europe, and how, in what way it should work. So the second important issue I wanted to mention, just I'm trying to make it more concise, I mean, my presentation, because I think we're running out of time. So as you know, and we have also energy challenges. The first challenge is you may have heard of Nord Stream 2, this famous Russian pipeline going from Russia to Germany, this very controversial project, which is actually diminishes the competition of other energy providers, because the idea is to bring to Europe a lot of cheap Russian gas, and this, in our opinion, is not the best idea, and in American opinion, it's not the best idea, not only because of LNG imports from the United States to Poland and Central Eastern Europe, but it's also about security. So, so we have this Nord Stream 2 pipeline. The US government has recognized Russia's use of energy exports as a political tool, and we, both the United States and Poland, are strongly opposed to this pressure to import a lot of Russian gas and making Europe dependent on Russian gas. So in recent years we've been cooperating very closely with the United States. As you may know, in 2016 we opened the LNG terminal in Świnoujście. It's very difficult to pronounce, but it's a very important Polish word. Świnoujście is a place in northern Poland, the Baltic Sea, when we have a major LNG terminal. We are actually building another LNG terminal. We already have several long-term contracts, LNG contracts signed with the United States. So energy is another field of our close cooperation, and the whole issue is about diversity. It's about importing gas from various parts of the world. From the United States, from Norway, there's another project called the Baltic Pipe. It's about importing gas from Norwegian shelf, and the whole energy issue is not just any kind of anti-Russian thing. It's just an attempt to diversify LNG imports, and the United States and our cooperation is of crucial importance here. So another important both political and economic issue is of course 5G. Poland intends to adopt long-lasting solutions on the cybersecurity of 5G technology in order to manage our critical infrastructure more effectively. We welcome more cooperation and information exchanges on 5G with our key partners. As you know, now in the world there is a big discussion about 5G, and I don't want again to mention any companies, but you know what company I have in mind. There are already I believe only 2 countries in Europe which signed Romania. There's a Romanian consul here, yes. Romania and Poland signed an agreement with the United States, kind of declaration rather than an agreement on 5G. Our declaration underlines that a robust and comprehensive approach to network security requires a careful and complete evaluation of 5G infrastructure and software providers. The declaration went on further to state that all countries must ensure that only trusted and reliable suppliers participate in our networks to protect them from unauthorized access or interference. But there has been a big discussion in Europe about 5G, and it's very controversial. These, in our opinion, unreliable suppliers have a lot of influence on discussions in Europe. So again, the position of the United States is very important for us. Poland has made great economic progress in recent times, starting from a broken post-communist system. Today, Poland is in the top 30 of the world's biggest economies. In the top 30 of the world's biggest economies. And it's one of the largest economies of the European Union, with an annual growth rate of 5%, a record growth rate of 5%. The economic growth gap between Poland and wealthier Western countries has continuously been getting smaller. Our government has set out 5 pillars for Poland's economic development: reindustrialization, development of innovative companies, ensuring capital for development, foreign expansion, and social and regional growth. Along these lines, we are confident that we are making good progress. As I said, the European Union continues to be by far Poland's main economic partner. In short, the Polish economy is a European economy. Europe accounts for most of Poland's foreign trade. The majority of foreign investment in Poland comes from other European countries, and most of our investment abroad goes elsewhere in Europe. We recognize the great benefits of the EU single market, including for the Polish economy, and Poland stands behind the principles on which the single market was founded: freedom of movement, of people, goods, capital and services. This is an European ideal, this freedom of movement of people, goods, capital and services. It doesn't always work very well, especially for Central Eastern European countries, but we are in the process of permanent discussion about these issues. But we seek to decrease barriers in transportation, services, labor, and the digital markets. These issues are the most important ones. So but at the same time, we want to avoid over-dependence on one market. Taking advantage of globalization and trade liberalization, Poland wants to expand its range of international economic partners, something which will also make us more competitive. This is why Poland has backed various free trade agreements negotiated by the European Union. While much of this expansion is focused on the United States, we are also working to increase our contact with our partners in Asia, Africa, the Middle East, and South America. And I think that when we discuss this cooperation in Florida, I mean, South America is really very, very important here. Not surprisingly, a key economic partner for Poland outside of Europe has been the United States. America is one of the leading destinations for Polish exports and one of the main sources of imports coming from Poland from outside the EU. The United States is also Poland's main non-European investment partner, and US investments have significantly contributed to our country's economic growth over the last 30 years. But there is still plenty of room to expand our economic ties. American investment in Poland is still significantly lower than would be expected based on the existing potential of the Polish economy and Poland's share in European production. We want our economic cooperation to correspond with our market potential, and this investment runs both ways, as there is growing interest on the part of Polish companies in investing in the American market, especially in the innovative sector. New prospects for Poland's research and innovation sector emerged also from an agreement between Poland and the US on scientific and technological cooperation. So, to make a long story short, there's still a long story here, but I would like to make it shorter. I would like to give the floor to my economic counselor, whose flight from Fort Lauderdale is like in 2 hours or something. So yeah. So if you allow me, just if Pawel can now join me and continue. Is it? I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say a few words, but I know he's on the time crunch.
Yes. So this will be like one presentation. I'm giving him my time. I have still 5 pages.
Yeah, it's okay. So he'll come back.
It's there.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Well, I also have a presentation just like for 30 minutes, but we don't have time and want to save your time. So instead of that, I'd like to show you a short promotional video.
The biggest economy in Central Europe, 6th in the European Union, 20th in the world, 39 million consumers, a bridge between the European Union and Eastern European countries, healthy public finances, economic predictability, and political stability that allow you to plan long-term investments. After all, we're talking about the only European Union country that avoided the 2008 worldwide crisis. Aviation, automotive parts, furniture, chemical industries, IT, mining machinery building, shipbuilding, food producing and processing. These are our national specialties. You cannot get better quality, productivity, and work ethics anywhere else. Our engineers, mathematicians, IT experts, and scientists are well known all over the world. The Polish plan to modernize its infrastructure, especially roads, railroads, and the power industry, gives you a huge opportunity for investment. Poland strongly supports startups and invests in innovations in sectors such as cybersecurity, drones, and robots. For years, Poland has been one of the most attractive foreign direct investment destinations in Central Eastern Europe. Poland, your place to invest.
Okay, so now you know everything. Okay. Thank you so much. So, as I said, I have quite a long, extensive presentation, but I will skip most of the facts, the basic facts about the economy. As you heard from the video, we are stable, growing very fast. Foreign trade is growing, investments, and so on and so on. So just to summarize, successful economy, large domestic market, not only Poland, but we are part of the whole European Union market, 500 billion customers, qualified young labor, competitive labor force, central location in Europe. Labor costs still lower than in the western part of Europe, but although we don't want to compete with lower wages, lower labor costs anymore. What else? We are the biggest beneficiary of European funds. So the last perspective, which will conclude this year, we received over 80 billion euros. So those money goes mainly to modernize Poland's transport infrastructure, but also help us grow in other areas. Political stability based on EU and NATO membership, and improving conditions for running business. Ambassador mentioned that. Coming to the Polish-American relations, we are doing very good, very well. We are growing. The last couple of years, we moved from the level of approximately 10 billion US dollars of bilateral trade turnover to the level of approximately 16 billion US dollars. It's still not enough. We are not satisfied with that. We are at the moment among the main trading partners of the United States. We are only on the 37th place, so we are much more ambitious. Our aspiration is at least top 30 in a couple next years, but it's doable, I believe. American investments in Poland. US companies have been, as already Ambassador mentioned during his presentation, US companies were part of Poland's transformation from the previous system. So starting from the early 90s, the US companies were there. So according to American Chamber of Commerce report, the investments, the US investments in Poland altogether reached the level of about 35 billion US dollars. So it's significant. Part of those investments go not directly, so some of the investments are made by the European subsidiaries of US companies. But as you see, US investors employ about 220,000 people in Poland. They are also strongly present in the service sector. We are it's kind of Polish speciality. So business service centers, research and development centers, call centers. Polish people are very known about their language skills. So they speak fluently foreign languages. So that's the advantage. That's our specialty, and U.S. investors are present in this sector. So many U.S. companies are already present in Poland. I will just want to give you some examples. For example, so one of the sectors with a very strong presence of U.S. companies is aerospace industry. So companies like Pratt & Whitney, Lockheed Martin, General Electric, Boeing, United Technologies. Another sector is industrial products with, for example, Canpack, International Paper, Guardian Glass, Whirlpool, Indesit. Pharmaceutical industry with Pfizer, Amgen, Merck, Gilead Science. Automotive industry is very strong and very important part of Polish industry. So companies like Ford, General Motors, Ear Corporation, Johnson Controls, Goodyear. Consumer goods with Mondelez, Pepsi, Avon, Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, Heinz, SC Johnson. IT sector, very important, with IBM, Dell, Hewlett-Packard, Intel, Oracle, Cisco, Microsoft, Google, and others. So as you see, U.S. companies are already there, but we welcome more U.S. companies coming to Poland, especially from Florida. So we hope this is only the beginning. Presentation here, our presence here. We hope that with help of such people as Patrick, as other present here, we'll be able to develop those business relations between Poland and Florida. Mr. Ambassador mentioned the 3Cs initiative, just to show you all those countries that participate in this initiative. So now we are talking about concrete projects. For example, the North-South Highway Via Carpatia. Poland is also promoting a very big project, which is the Central Communication Hub, Solidarity Hub, located between Warsaw and Łódź. So in central Poland, huge airport with very well connected with the whole region. So that's the very important project that we want to promote. That will also provide many opportunities for foreign investments, including, of course, American opportunities for U.S. companies. Just a few words about the network of Polish Investment and Trade Agency, because those are the foreign trade offices that can provide assistance to U.S. companies. Their main goal is to help Polish companies to establish contacts in the U.S. But originally, this Polish Investment and Trade Agency, their primary goal was to attract foreign investments into Poland. So they still do that. So
where's Miami?
Where's Miami? Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have Miami yet, but we are working on it. Okay, that's it. You probably recognize this guy. You probably there is a new series on Netflix, The Witcher, and this is the cover of the computer game. My son says it's the best computer video game ever. It's made by a Polish company, CD Projekt. The company right now is valued on the Warsaw Stock Exchange. The value of company is about 7 billion with B, $7 billion US. So it's really huge, even by US standards, I believe. They will introduce another, I think, new video game, Cyberpunk, with a.
It's based on a novel of a Polish author.
Yeah, The Witcher is based on the novel of Andrzej Sapkowski, very popular. I think right now on the Amazon, right? This is number one.
After the Netflix release,
it's a bestseller.
Show, you become #1 seller.
Yes.
So it's just to show you the potential. The video game sector in Poland is booming. This is the biggest one, the biggest company, but the whole sector is about 400 companies, very successful and very dynamic. So I conclude with that, and I want to encourage you to do business with Poland. Thank you so much.
Pablo, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ivan Barrios. I'm president of the World Trade Center Miami. Just a 2-minute thing. Most of you might know who we are, but I'm just going to tell you we're a private nonprofit organization. We have a private sector board chaired this year with Roberto Munoz. This is our 2nd year with Roberto. We have a member of the board, Carolina Rendeiro, that she just became a member of the board. So I want to thank you for coming. What we do at the World Trade Center is we promote Miami as a trade and logistics hub of the Americas. We're a network of 360 World Trade Centers around the world. The one here in Miami, we promote Miami in 2 ways. We have the Air Cargo America show, which is a show dedicated to the air cargo industry and the logistics industry. It's done every 2 years. And annually, we have the America's Food and Beverage Show, where we bring over 500 exhibitors to Miami to promote their products and services here in Miami throughout the Americas and the world. This is our first of a series of VIP events that we're doing. So, Ambassador, thank you very much for coming to us today. And I want you to come up, and Roberto, I want you to come up because we have a gift for you. And I know Pavel has got to get an Uber all the way to Fort Lauderdale Airport. So, Pavel, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
What's this?
A black box.
If you find the button, don't touch it.
See, no button. However, if he throws it, it's very hard.